Looks like we have a instruction manual. Here's the specifications of this washer, and you guys can see here we have 3,800 psi on the maximum pressure, and rated is around 3,000. So, and it's 2.8 gallons per minute. The pressure hose is 16.5 feet, and the power cord is 35 feet. So here we see all the pieces that are included, and then it kind of shows us here in 9 steps of how to put it together. Let's go ahead and pull all the pieces out of the box. So it looks like here we have a container, and it does have its own bracket that it sits in. And this is quite an interesting piece here because this is a reel, kind of like a water hose reel that you have at your house, but for the pressure washer. Looks like some kind of adapter hose here, and the washer itself. And that's everything for the box. So the one I got here is an orange color, which is pretty nice. I like it. And the wheels are also the same color. Looks like this is our on and off switch here. Below that, this is where we're going to hook up the high pressure hose. And this is what the back of it looks like. So here we have some kind of label, all the information about the washer, some warnings and things like that. And so back here we can see this is where our water hose comes in. So power cable output, and there is about 35 feet here. And on the end we have a safety circuit with the plug. So let's see what else we got here. So this is our wand handle, and does have a trigger connection port to the high pressure line. The extension part, which clips into the wand, we can go ahead and put that in. That's pretty simple, and that simply just goes in and then twists. So once you twist it, it locks in, and that's good right there. So we also get a bag here of different parts. So we got our nozzles, and we got 5 different kind, and they're all colored. That's nice. So starting with the red one is 0 degrees, so this is going to be the highest pressure you can get out of this thing, but you know, the least amount of water, and a very narrow beam of 0 degrees. Then we got 15%, 25%, and then 40%. And then we also got this black one here, which is like a soaker, and also probably be used with the container there to pull chemicals out. So here we have a few brackets to connect, our hose adapter, some screws, looks like a clean out needle thing, open-ended wrench, 2 different sizes, and we also actually get a Phillips screwdriver. Well, that's kind of nice. So you don't need any kind of tools. It includes everything you need to assemble it. So let's go to our assembly page here, and we can see here on figure 1 we need to install the 2 brackets, and this is going to be where the power cable winds. So this is where they go and what they look like. So we're going to need the 2 screws and our Phillips screwdriver. So it simply goes like this, and then our screw will go through that hole into there. And if you look at it here, it's going to point up like this, and the other one's going to point down, so you can wrap the cord around it. Alright, both of those are in, and so now our cord here can wrap around just like that, and that's how we're going to store it. Alright, so for step 2 we're going to install the extension hose here, this one, to the reel part, which is right here. So the hose has 2 ends. There's a 90-degree turn and then just a straight. So we're going to use this side. So there is a little gasket here, so be careful to kind of, you know, wiggle it in there so it goes in nicely. And then we're going to clamp it down or tighten it down with this nut washer. Alright, so that looks good. So that was 2. 3 is we're going to be installing the whole reel onto the main body. And if you guys look on one side here, we have like little nubs sticking out, and they're actually going to insert into here. So it literally just kind of sets into there. And then there's 4 bolts, 2 on each side, here and here, that go through it into the body. We can grab our screwdriver and tighten them up. So yeah, that's pretty simple, and it's on now, and it's nice and sturdy, and we do have a nice rubber handle grip on the top. So, and you know, you could raise it up by the handle now. It's quite easy to move around. Alright, so for figure 4 here, we're going to install the nozzles, and they actually go right here, right on top of our handle, just like that. So for figure 5, we need to install the high pressure hose that comes from the reel, which is this other side with the 90-degree angle. So it comes from the top, goes down into the front here. We can just insert that, kind of wiggle it in there so it goes in nice and smooth, and then we'll lock it in with this washer. Simple as that. This part is connected. And for step 6, we're going to install this bracket, which looks like it just clips on, and also the bottle. And if we're looking at the front of the machine, the wand holder bracket goes on the left side and the bottle on the right. So this piece here is going to slide onto the left side, and it literally just slides down in there. And this hose actually clips around into there. I guess it kind of holds it. And then our dispense bucket here goes on this side of the machine, and it also just slots right in. Just push it down, and that's it. And then the suction tube with the cap you put in there, and this just clips right over. So we got a few more steps here, which we did this already, connecting the two pieces of the pressure wand. Now we need to install the hose, which is this part here that's on the reel, to the wand itself, and we are going to be using this wrench here to tighten up the nut. Alright, and that's good right there, and it's very tight, and we should be good to go. So now we can go ahead and put the wand here in the holder, and just like that. And naturally our cord here winds on the back here, and then it's all together, and we can roll it around or carry it around. So yeah, it's a nice little clean, not large kind of pressure washer that you can move around quite easy. I guess one thing I did forget to install is this thing, and this is quite simple. It's basically the same end on each side. It's just gonna go here in the back. Just make sure you got gaskets on both sides, and we're just gonna hand tighten this to the body. Alright, so I got the pressure out here in the backyard, and let's go ahead and hook it up. So we got the garden hose here, and that simply connects back here. Alright, I'm going to turn it on. So it looks like no leaks of any kind there. So it is in the off position, but before we turn it on so you can pressurize, we need to try to get as much air out of the system as we can. So with no tip at the end here, we're just going to push it to release the air. So if I push it, you guys can see it's quite a bit of air coming out there. So once it looks like it's pretty steady, that means we're pretty good. So we do need to install one of these tips. Now I don't recommend you going with this red 0 degrees unless you really know what you're doing, because this is gonna be a little aggressive. So if you want good cleaning power, you probably should start here with this yellow one, or something more subtle like you're washing your car or something. This green one would probably be the best thing. And then this one here is pretty flanged out. So but we're gonna try every one here. Let's just go ahead and go with this 40, and you guys can see what the spray pattern looks like on that, and then I'll go through each one. And the way they go in is pretty simple. There's a locking mechanism here. You just have to pull it away like this. So as you're putting the tip in, release this. It's a two-handed kind of job, I guess, but pull it down, push the tip in, and then kind of wiggle it around where this goes back up. So make sure that this part goes back up, because if it doesn't go back up all the way, this ring, it's not going to lock it. So once it's locked, it's good to go. So let's go ahead and power it on, and we can hear the motor wind up and build pressure. So now when we release pressure, it's going to turn on and keep pressurizing it. So let's go. And there you guys can see the pattern of the 40 degrees. It's quite wide. So, and you can turn the tip, you can see how the pattern is. So the wide part is the width of the pattern. So if you turn it like this horizontally, you guys can see we change the pattern. So depending on how you want it, you can change it back and forth. So this is the 40 degrees. So I put on the green one, which is 25 degrees. That's what that looks like. So it's a little more narrow. Now we got the yellow one, which is 15 degrees. And you guys can see it's very narrow. And this one's probably going to be really good for most things. And if you want to go aggressive, you can go with the red one here, and it's going to be more like a point. And you guys can see. So be very careful with this one. It does work very well for cleaning, but you have to be careful where you point it and how close, because it can be quite extreme on some materials or whatever surfaces. And definitely don't put your hand in front of it, because it will probably hurt you. So let's go back to the yellow one, because I feel like this one here is the best all-arounder for getting the good clean and not being dangerous, and plus the risk of like peeling paint or whatnot else off. But yeah, let's just see if we could do something here. I don't know if you guys can see, but we got a little stain here, and yeah, it washes it right off pretty well. And this is a pretty old stain too, so well, let's check out this fence. It's kind of dirty. Yep, cleans it. So yeah guys, you can see the yellow tip is perfect for this kind of jobs. So you can see that one there that's clean, and then the one above it, it's not clean. You can clean that. Yeah, works very well.